All right, good morning, ladies and gents. Welcome to Build Exclusively with Antonio T. Smith Jr. Glad to have each and every one of you on. Today is Wednesday, as of this recording, October 25th, 2024. We're excited because today is Elite Content Catalyst Masterclass Day.
Say 24? Or did I miss a year?
I'm tripping. My bad. I don't know why. Okay, 2023. I didn't catch it till you just said something. Thank you so much, Uncle Romero. My bad. Okay. I don't know. Anyway, we're coming back to today. Okay. But today, 2023, is Elite Content Catalyst Masterclass Day. And I'm excited for all of us who will take part in that. If you have not seen the partner list, go and check the fan club page. It is there. If you have taken advantage and registered for the masterclass, you are partnered up with a partner. So go ahead and take a look at that, and pretty sure Antonio will let us know about the partners and what that will entail in the masterclass on today. All right, I'm
No,
about
no,
to.
it's just what Phil said yesterday. Just if one can't miss, you take notes for each other. Just accountability partners, battle buddies help you out.
Okay, there you go. Okay, battle buddies, accountability partners. Great, that's good. Okay, somebody keep me in line. All right, my partner is Jalen, and I know Jalen is gonna keep me in line because he keeps me in line with these sales. All right, so here we
It's all
go.
about the team, sister. Good morning, everybody.
That's it. Good morning. Good morning. All right. Well, I'm about to hand it over to. Am I handing it over to my twin with the shirt on? Am I handing it over to you? Okay. All right. To the young lady who is a BOI. For those who don't know what that means born on the island. Okay. From Galveston, G-Town, Texas. She is the young lady who is the most creative person I know. Okay. And can help you with anything. All you got to do is say, hey, D, I want to do this. And then she'll take it from there. Okay. She said, oh, you can do this. So, the lovely person who is always a kid at heart, and we love that, Miss Deanna Marie.
Ooh, got salt water in my veins. I really think I do have salt water in my veins because there's something about the smell of the sea that just like grounds me, makes me comfortable. Yep, I was definitely born on the island. Okay, now let's talk.
That could be a commercial right there
Thank
for
you.
Galveston.
Thank you very much. All right. Who has actually I'm down to shoot it. Oh, sweet, Jalen. Who has actually done some shadow work since we've been talking about this? Who's actually sat down? Who's done it? Who's no one has dug deep. Okay, Jalen, if you're okay with sharing, how has the shadow work that you've done helped you? Like, what differences have you seen when it comes to not only your personal life but your business as well?
I think it's kind of early to tell, but it's like vibes are a little bit different in certain ways. And I say that because the more I look internal, the more I find that I have more to give, and the more I really take a chance to sit back and see what I've done. I kind of start to celebrate the small wins more because it's no small feat, even though I feel like it's not, like, no matter what, we're still going, we're always still hungry. There's more to do. So just in doing that brought to me the idea that I brought forward yesterday to actually have let's just say, the balls to say it, right? And it felt nice just because I know it's a good idea, but I have to realize also using my resources and be better at being more community based in that way because I'm just so used to doing it myself. I'm so used to literally only having me, all that type of stuff. And so it's built me a certain way. And that the more I look in turn, the more I want to not be this way. But it's hard breaking that barrier. It's hard, I wouldn't say trusting, but giving up more creative control when I know I need to get where I want to go, because I don't feel like this, let's just say the vehicle that I'm putting it into is what I want it to be yet. Or I'm like, oh, maybe they're not ready, or they have the talent, but I got to train them. I got to get them right. And just, how life happens. So I firmly believe you don't look for your team. God brings you your team and you attract your team, right? And I'm trying to definitely use that more in my personal life, but I found that using it here has definitely been an extreme benefit. Not only in my productivity, because it's easier being the strongest person in the room of your peers, right? But when you get in a room where everybody's strong and you're not the big dog, that's when you really have to shine more. And that reminds me of playing sports when I was younger, because I was always playing with the older kids. And that's how I got better. That's how I got into college. That's how what I'm saying? So it gives me that sense of competition in a way that I crave a lot. And I'm learning how to use that to my advantage.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing, Jalen. That is awesome. That is awesome. And I'm going to dig into all of this, but I just wanted to see who's been doing some shadow work, whether it's just meditating to dig deep, whether it's just staring at yourself in the mirror, telling yourself, I love you. Who else has done the shadow work and how has it? Oh, go ahead, Prophet. Bless you.
For me, learning to, sometimes Queen is in the room creating, and sometimes I just turn on the camera and look at myself. And from the timing of always becoming that I let go of some things, I'm finding myself being more alert, more happy. Like I was saying Monday at Wednesday Challenges, that when I went to the event a couple of Saturdays ago, I felt more better because of, that's the business part. I felt more better because I sold, and I wasn't like other times I went, I just was like, oh, ain't nobody gonna, come to my table, blah, blah, blah. And they didn't. Some did, but because what I
Bless you.
Just give me 1 second.
No, take your time.
Because of what I spoke, that's why I didn't get the response that I thought I was going to get. And so I left early because I wasn't feeling well. This was not this time. This was in March. I think it was in March. And so learning to tell myself that I am worth. I'm worth selling my book. I'm worth letting my can you come find my pump, please? I'm worth, I'm worth selling my book. I'm worth come back to me.
Okay. And take your time.
In the meantime, he could use that as a tagline on things. I am worthy of.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But when you do that shadow work and you start releasing a lot of things, you start realizing, man, wait a minute, I am worthy.
Yeah, they did great at that event, both of them. Um, it was a definite win for both.
Tiana,
Yes, ma'am.
man, I just want to say something to the prophet. I would really like to recommend he look at, I'm using quotes in air, disability. Get that out of your head. You have a
Yes.
different ability. Your
Yes,
abilities are different. They're just different. Because when you say disability, there is a, oh, feel sorry for. Nobody needs to feel sorry for you. You function how you function. You get to do whatever your capability of doing. Your abilities are just different. You are not a disabled person. Your
yes, ma'am.
abilities are different. If you keep the disability, it has a negative connotation. Poor you, poor you. No, it's not poor you. You're different. You are just as bright and capable as most people in a different way when it comes to yourself physically. The human person is still in there, and the human person is still just like everybody else. We have our own dysfunctions, we have our good days, we have our bad days. So I want to say that to you because you are more than you give yourself credit for, and you need to start telling people that. And you tell them in your words, and you tell them what you can do. So I crown you, sir. You are not a disabled person.
Come on, big sis.
I
I mean,
receive.
take your time. Take your time.
Gotta do my duck calls. Get all that mucus out. I received every bit of that. You sound like my aunt that tells me, boy, stop it and just go move. So I appreciate that, Miss Adonia. I really do. That touched my heart. I really appreciate that because I do a lot of pouring out, but not I don't get a lot of pouring back in, except for in this community. Of course, my queen, but except this community. So I receive every bit of that. So just learning all of this of releasing the hate that I had for myself, the hate that I had to go through what I went through, but now it's like I'm worth it. I'm worth it. I'm worth the book because there's a marriage book coming out. Then I got another book coming out. So it's never it's the sky's the limit. To what I can have. That's what the Clark sister says. So the sky is the limit. So I'm going after the sky. I'm going where the eagles go. I'm about to soar. So this shadow work has helped me out a lot to look at myself and not to look at the lazy eye because it's still there, but you can't tell it sometimes. But I can. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes when I look in the mirror, I think back of the pictures of really you saw it as a kid. Renee saw some pictures of me as a baby and as 3 and 4 years old that it was really cross-eyed. My eyes were really cross-eyed. So to look at that and be like, okay, that's just gonna be me. Renee loves me for me. My family loves me for me. My community loves me for me. So, I'm just gonna go and do what I got to do because um I was always told I'm gonna be nothing. So now I'm gonna have to prove those ancestors wrong. And I know some of the ancestors are looking at me now and like, what? You wrote a book? I just talked to one of my aunts the other day, and she's like, I'm so proud of you. You did that mime. And she's like, if your mother and Aunt Nancy that raised me was here, they would be proud of you. She's like, you keep doing what you're doing. Don't let nothing stop you. So, it's that thing that where I'd rather push Renee because I know it's in her, but now I know it's in me once I release what was in me.
Come on. Come on.
Yes. All right.
That's respect, brother. Keep going. You got this.
I told you, that dream that I told you I had, that was real to me. That was real to me. And the way you gonna get there is loving yourself. And you gonna get there. Watch. One day we gonna be on camera, y'all, and they gonna be outside. And Renee gonna put the camera on him and be like, look, y'all, he gonna be walking.
And then when that happens, I want you to notice the direction of the camera, because if the camera goes like this and it goes up, just know Renee fell out. Just know that. If the camera goes like that and it goes up in the air and you no longer see Jay and you just see the sky, just know that's what happened.
Okay. I'm laughing so hard, y'all, because as she was saying it, I was picturing it.
Good. I'm glad my words worked then. All right.
Oh man. Oh goodness. I love y'all so much. Oh my goodness. Who else has noticed a difference since they've started? If you've started your shadow work, who else has noticed a difference in not only your personal life, but your business? No one else has done their digging deep?
Okay. Deanna, check this out.
Okay.
So I've been noticing that my confidence has been changing. I've been noticing that because I was in the restroom the other day and I was doing my wig. This is not actually a wig, but actually what I call my hair. But I was doing my hair and I just kind of stopped, looked at myself in the mirror. It seemed like forever, but I just looked at myself and I started smiling and I just said, boy, I said, the older I get, I see my parents, but I see me. You couldn't pay me to look in the mirror of myself. It's especially if my hair was not done. You couldn't. Now I could be feeling myself all day if my hair was done, and I was like, shoot, 3 snaps and a twist with a chicken wing, But to really look at myself in the mirror, and I don't wear makeup anyway, but just to be like, no earrings, no nothing, and I'm just like, and I said, man, your face is kind of glowing, Renee. That's kind of work. That new face stuff you using on your face, your face is really glowing. But it's a huge thing for me because I didn't always like what I saw when I looked in the mirror. I would actually shy away from it. I remember one time saying to my hairdresser, I was like, you did my hair so cute. I said, there's only one thing wrong. And she was like, what? And I'd be like, my face. And I remember saying that to my hairdresser. And I was like, ooh, I'm like, man, that's a little rough looking back. I was like, man, Renee. But to really see myself and to really be confident. And my church was telling me, they're like Renee, you be saying stuff that nobody would say. You just like, you be on social media and you just be saying, and I'm like, wow. I'm like, you like, you be doing that. And I was like, wow, I never thought of myself in that way. I guess sometimes there's a way that I say stuff that sometimes people can actually receive, because I'm like, and sometimes it might come off a little, like that, but I try to be as clear as I possibly can because I want you to see it the way I'm seeing it. So I think that's why sometimes the words come like stone cold sometimes, but they still have the ability to come off soft to a certain extent. But I really like that my confidence is growing and is helping me when I'm talking to other people, especially in business. It's there are some conversations I'm not shying away from. I'm not having a problem with talking about finances. If you want to my services and you like, oh, I'll give you this, and I'm like, oh, okay, but that's not for me. And being confident enough to say it in a nice way and not being like, shoot, man, and not say it the Akron way, which can still sometimes come out. That's really cool for me because I'm not afraid to have some of those uncomfortable talks. My stomach used to turn whenever I had to kind of talk about, especially, just period. But sometimes you just have to have those uncomfortable talks and still be cool with the person or still be like, okay, all right, if we're not gonna move forward together, then that's cool. I wish you the best and actually mean it and not just be saying lip service, or as Antonio used to say, a ceremonial yes. Hey, I'm talking about my city, Prophet. But yeah, so my confidence is growing, and I'm really grateful because it took a long time, but now that I'm here, I it ain't going away. So yeah, thanks.
All right. Come on now. Thank you so much, Renee. Thank you so much, Jalen. Thank you so much, Prophet. And thank you, Miss Adonia, for your words of wisdom towards Prophet earlier. Your words of kindness. Uncle Rummy Rome, I see you unmuted.
Yeah.
And Miss Sandra.
Let Sandra go.
Okay.
She had.
Yeah. Go ahead, Miss Sandra.
Thank you, Uncle. Well, one of the things I wanted to say was congratulations, Renee, because extremely difficult to be able to get over that hump of looking at yourself and saying, I'm good, regardless of what anyone else says. Because one of the biggest strengths we have is within. It's not on the outside. That's why God calls for us to encourage one another. It has nothing to do with our look. It has to do with our inner power. And each part of our body carries a power. When we join those powers together within ourselves, we overcome the things that have kept us bound. And whenever we become unbound, then we begin to see our powers that we can gather together from being unbound. Does it make sense? And I thank you for the light that you have been given because you encourage me. There's something that is happening in each and every one of our lives that is bringing us to the next level of where God wants us to be. Regardless of whether anyone believes he is real or not, the sky is real. And there used to be a saying that the sky is falling, but truth be told, all the drama is falling. And it's got to come to an order because that's what God calls for. And we are part of the order arranging. So I just want to tell you, thank you for what you do. Thank you for sharing your heart. Thank you for sharing your ability to come past and over those hurdles. Love y'all.
Love you too. Thank you.
Deanna,
Uncle Romeo.
I said last week when we were talking that this term shadow work is a new term for me. I believe it's been going on and it's been back there, but I didn't know it was called shadow work. So it's a new term for me. And so I ain't gonna front on that. But I do recognize that there are things from my past that have held me back, that have kept me in the place that I've been in. And some of the things I desire and I want, I don't have because I haven't done the shadow work because I didn't know I needed to, you know. I thought I was all right, you know. And I remember one time I told Antonio, the people who are around me, in most cases, I'm not, you know, I'm doing a little better than them, you know. So I feel kind of good, like, hey. But when you look at my harvest, I'm still broke. So I can sit on the sideline and pat myself on the back, but I don't have the stuff I want. So keep patting yourself on the back and stay broke. No, I don't want to do that. So people like Antonio punch you in your face and be like, do you got to punch so hard? But he does because he's got to get your attention. Well, on that same note, speaking of shadow work, yesterday on the call, Antonio made a comment about the class we're going to be taking today, starting today, and about, you know, how he's going to be situating us and helping us with our businesses like that. And he made a comment about my poetry. And I don't say a lot about my poetry on this call and so forth like that. But when I got off the call, I looked at my messages and there was Jalen saying, yo, blah, 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 blah. I said, yeah, sure, let's talk. And we talked. But what blew me away about our conversation was number one, when I first met him, I knew there was some things about him that I really, really liked. And I've called him a couple times, you know, shared a few things with him, so forth like that, which maybe under normal circumstances I wouldn't have done, but I did. And then when he reached out to me, it was like, you know, he needs some help. So that compelled me to share some things, to give him some background, to talk about some things that I thought would help him with his poetry, because he's doing a thing with poetry. Oh, and by the way, Jalen, there's them 3 books I told you about.
Don't be telling people my secrets.
I just want to let you know I wasn't making it up. But what was wonderful about our conversation was it compelled me to go back and give him some history. He didn't ask for that, but I felt like I needed to share that with him based on what he had said to me and where I think he was trying to go. And then when I finished sharing that history with him, then he said, I'm trying to reach those 15, 16, and 17-year-old kids and blah, blah, blah. And I went, those are the same kids I wrote Fixing the Broken for Without Being Broken, and that I wrote these poems for. And I went, so he had to get into a meeting with you guys. And I was like, yo, me and you need to get back together. So that just blew me away in the sense that Antonio brought up poetry and helping out. And the next thing you know, I'm sitting there going, is this somebody I'm gonna end up working with? Because he says he wants to get into the schools with young. I want to get into the school. And I went, and then I told him about, well, you know, Donia likes working with young people too, but I don't want Donia to hear that. But the point was that because I was open.
Say what? Just kidding.
Because I was open, we had that conversation, and I got extremely excited. And then he had to go, and I didn't want him to go because I wanted us to finish talking. And I said, wait a minute. And then I thought about, and I didn't tell him this, 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, when God told me to start bringing people to the table. And I'm like Jalen, I do everything myself. I would love for others to help and whatever, so like that. But it's like, I know I can get it the way I want, and blah, 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 blah. But I go back to my harvest again. I'm like, so the point is that, but when I get it done, oh, it's sweet. Those books sweet. And the fixing the broke without being broken. I told you guys I got somebody working on doing it into a movie. I've sold about 50 of those books myself, apart from what Melissa's done. And everyone who's either read the book or who's read part of it has come back to me and said, Jerome, oh, this is sweet, Jerome. When's book 2 coming out? And blah, blah. And I'm sitting there going, okay. As I haven't had a chance to promote it and market it the way I want to, but I'm working on that. But just that feedback says, dude, you got something. You got something. So I wanted to share that about the shadow work in the sense of being in the place where you need to be, and then being open. So when those opportunities present themselves, because I was pouring into Jalen, right? Because of him asking about the poetry, and I already got 3 books out and blah, 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 so like that. And then the next thing I know, he's talking about, man, I'm trying to get to these young people. And I'm like, well, that's why I'm trying to get my poetry coming out now. That's what I'm trying to get my books to. And I went, So working that childhood trauma, working on those things that keep you back, puts you in a position where you can attract and you can bring those other people in your circle. Now, what you do when they get there, I guess that's going to be in you. But for right now, I like Jalen. He doesn't appear to be a knucklehead, Notice I said he doesn't appear to be a knucklehead. But if he is, y'all know I'm Uncle Rome, Baltimore's own. You know I'm gonna get him. Oh, you know I'm. Jalen, it's not personal. This is what I do, dog. Okay, that's all I had to say.
You got it, big dog. I don't want no smoke.
No, I love it. I love it. I love it because so I was like Uncle Rome.
Oh, excuse me for a second.
Yes, go ahead.
And Renee, I told him that I wrote a poem for you. I wrote a poem for Phil and Susan. I wrote a poem for Dr. Trey. I about 3 poems for Dr. And some folks on the I told him about that. Gardner gave me a couple skills. And everybody I wrote those poems for, what do I say? They liked them. They really, really did. Because listen to me, I didn't write them. I was the vessel. Hey.
It is beautiful, Jalen. It is beautiful. I was like, I didn't know there was a way for him to he rhymed our names, Jay and Renee. And I was like, okay, all right, okay. I'm glad I was already sitting. I was like, I needed to sit down for that. It is beautiful. We're gonna frame it, you know what I'm saying? But it's beautiful.
Okay. As Grace said in the beginning, I be coming up with all kinds of ideas. Maybe you and Jalen can come together and do like a Zoom poetry slam or a Zoom poetry jam and open it up.
So you want me to brag? So you want me to brag in front of everybody? No, I told him in the beginning, I don't do spoken word. I read from my book, but there are people out there that do that. I've watched them, blah, 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 like that. That's not my forte. See what I'm saying? All right. My stuff's so powerful. If I put it into spoken word, please, it'd be like, yo, take me to Hollywood.
Since he exposed me, I might as well speak for myself now. So basically what I want to do is I want to use that as a way to reach like I just said, 15 to 17, 18, like that age. When it comes to health literacy, when it comes to self and like awareness, improvement, all those things. And I feel as if though that group, especially now, is so like we talk about wanderers, but they're the real wanderers because they're coming into a world that they're barely taught to know what to do in. Depending on their home environment, you don't really know. it's going to get harder when it comes to financials, and they not making no money. Their jobs are getting taken by, well, at first when I was growing up, my job was getting taken by older folks that didn't go to school and whatnot because they were still working the same jobs in a small town, whatever. And then now it's going to be robots. It's going to take their jobs to take our jobs. So it's just helping to prepare them, give them some encouragement, give them some ways to not only do the shadow work, as you say, of finding who they are young, but also knowing what they want to do young. I find so many, let's just say, young adults, young people in general, who just don't know what they want to do. Like, I get it, but at least have something. Like, when we talk about the book, find your weird, find your love. Like, I know there's something in you and in everybody, that we have our talent, and once we find it, then we just have to figure out how to monetize it. And I mentor all these young boys, men, whatever, because they're not boys, they're men, 16, 17, 19, like, and it really is fulfilling, but it also lets me know that hopefully I'm helping the next generation of young men, because I know there's a lot of things that I had to go out there and be a knucklehead and find out what life was, right? And go through things that I feel like we all go through a lot in our community as, people, Black people, whatever you call yourself, I don't know. So I just want to break that stigma. I want to break the stereotype. I want to show love and just help mentor that group. But then in thinking of that one, it was crazy because then he got to talking again. Jerome got to talking again. So I got to thinking, why don't we do like an online mentorship, right? We can have our own call line. And with AI now, we can AI responses, chat bots, so it's real time. And then if like the AI feels like they need someone to call them now, then boom, you get that call response. Also, with that being said, you kind of gave me a little bit of insight, and not insight, but inspiration on another keynote, because I have a feeling we're going to be going in places and speaking about what we're doing, Jerome. And I'm just gonna give the little bit of a title and then just leave y'all with that. And it's just gonna be called The 4 Seasons of Manhood. And we're just gonna go from there. But I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it. We keep producing, we keep going. So let me shut up. It's not my show.
Go ahead, Mr. Phil.
Well, to help people understand who they are, that's why we have people do the standout assessment.
And it works too. 4 Seasons of Manhood. I'm going to say this. I'm just going to throw it out there. Since you threw out the title, I'm going to throw out the idea. What about a 4 Seasons of Manhood book and workbook?
And 365 journal.
There you go.
The
Go ahead and put your course together.
Give me all them fries. I like onion rings too, girl. Come on now.
Onion rings with the spicy ketchup. if I'm guessing that's only a Texas thing, because Whataburger is only in Texas. Okay. See, Whataburger makes not just regular
And it's
ketchup.
fire. I know. That's the only one I get. Trust me. My family lives in Texas. We're originally from Westaco. Trust me. I love Whataburger.
Not like White Castle.
No.
No.
Disrespect.
No,
They're
wait.
called sliders for a reason. They slide in and out.
No.
Well, the White Castle in the stores are a lot different than what you see in the grocery store. So I was wondering.
I'm afraid to do the White Castles from the grocery store, because I've had White Castle, and let me tell you something. White Castle is actually good.
Like the bomb. Best
Yeah.
side do or die. White Castle is it. I'm just saying. Sandra loves to just say.
They are out of Columbus, Ohio, and they were our client. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Crystals is like White Castle.
Flex.
When I lived down south, Crystals got them same little
Crystal.
burgers. Crystals is
Okay.
like this to me is like White Castle. Even though White Castle always had that real good chicken sandwich that I really liked. But that was
Ours was always crowded late night, like 12, 1, 2 in the morning.
That's
Next
Whataburger.
Or all the
Whataburger.
people have been partying and then we're hungry.
that's party time. Yeah.
Yep.
Excuse me, Darren.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
I wanted to say something before I forget, but I
Go
wanted to
ahead.
plan it to Jalen. Okay. Jalen, when we talked yesterday, I told you about those books that I'm not going to sell because I got to give somebody some money for them. And based on what you said, oh, come on now, dog. And based on what you just said, my brain just told me with that Zoom and online, that those would be lead magnets. Those would be giveaways. Come on now. Come on now. Just wanted to put that out there with you, dog. Thank you.
Romy Ron. Uncle Romy Ron. He said, got him. He said, got him. Okay. Trinace asked the question. She said, can you get stuck in the process? And the answer is yes. Oh, no, not to you, Jalen. She was asking when we were talking about we were talking about shadow work in general. The answer is yes. I've been stuck. I've gotten stuck. Hell, I think I'm stuck now. I don't know. Melissa said Uncle Rome don't leave money on the table. You can get stuck. And so I'm going to talk from my experience. When I get stuck, it's because the pain is too much. And I get, just like when Uncle Phil, with Mr. Phil, again, look at it came out. I guess I've been trying to call him Uncle Phil for years. When Uncle Phil says, when we, when you're telling a story during the keynote, and Miss Susan says it too, when you're telling a story during the keynote, you have to be careful because someone can relate so much or they get so into the story, they can't come out of it. Shadow work does the same thing. When you're digging into it, the pain can be so much to where you get stuck in that pain where you can't come out of it. That's why it's good to have people around you who understand the process. So if I go to Uncle Romy Rome and I'm like, hey, and he's talking to me and I just start crying, like, Uncle Romy Rome, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. I've been doing the work, but just this one thing, I can't get out of it. It hurt too much. And Uncle Romy Rome and all his wisdom is going to guide me out of whatever I'm in so I can complete that process. But you do get stuck in the process. That's why it's good to have friends. And that's why you have to be careful who you have in your passenger seat. Because your friend can sit there with you and keep you stuck in that same process. Because they probably in the process themselves, or they're in the pain themselves. And they're like, yeah, no Debbie Downers. Because the wrong kind of friend will sit with you in your misery and not help you move forward. They will keep you parked in the storm. But then you have some friends that will be like, no, I know, I get it. But come on, let's keep moving. Let's keep going. Or Satan's get well card. Renee, where do you come up with these things?
Hey, I'm sorry.
I've never heard that before.
I mean, I'm sorry, you guys. I
Well,
told the girl that in college because she was just negative all the time, and I looked at her and I was like, you're like Satan's get well card. I mean, you seriously are. I was like, good Lord. Is everything
You've been here before. You have been
have? I
here before.
truly have.
You are somebody's big mama somewhere in this universe.
Hey, I may be, hey, I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh my goodness. I love it though. I love it. I really do. Oh man. I'm gonna tell somebody that one day. Like, you always gotta be Satan's get well card. But the answer is yeah. Oh my goodness. The answer is yes, you can get stuck in the process. But that's when that's when that forgiveness starts too. First, the forgiveness of self first, because that is the hardest thing to do. The hardest thing to do is forgive self first. And during that process, that pain could have been how many of you have been hit with the pain so hard where you just completely anything related to that pain, you just completely, like, you stuck it in the closet and you just completely forgot about it. Like, it's in the back of the closet collecting cobwebs. And then one day you decide, I'm gonna clean out my closet. And you see it and it stops you in your tracks. And you just kind of sit there like, dang, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, that's how I wrote Fixing the Broken Without Being Broken. I'm on a train ride to New York City with my boss, asking me about something that happened in Baltimore. And I start telling him that story. And I could see myself, after we came back, I could see myself picking the scabs, opening the wounds. And I said, I thought I buried this. I thought I put all of this away. It all came rushing back. And I gave it, and I believe I gave him what he needed. He was appreciative. But now I'm back where I was, 3-4 years ago. And I thought this was behind me. And then I said, Jerome, you need to write a book about this. And it went from 1 book to 3 books. Hello, give me that money. Come on now. The channel's better. You know that, right? Okay.
When you get stuck, and Uncle Romy Rome, he just helped me with my point. That's when the courage comes in. So you have to have courage to do shadow work. Because you are about to open up the things that you hid away. When they hurt, you hid them. You didn't go through the process of analyzing it. You didn't go through the process of healing from it. You didn't give it a voice. You didn't release it. So when you do shadow work, the courage you have to face you. When I tell y'all, I'm the bravest damn person walking. And if you doing shadow work, you are the bravest damn person walking. Because that stuff will knock you on your knees, have you on your elbows, crying, laid flat, prostrate. Because you digging deep. Go ahead, Miss Sandra. We know you hiding, so go ahead.
I want to say this, and that is that in each transition that we embark upon, it is another doorway to our next level of healing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing to see what comes out of that, because it literally is like peeling those layers of onion, and that real thin sheer piece that you think doesn't exist until you cook it, and then you realize that, yeah, I can't bite through that like the other one, like the meaty part. It's there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that. And I'm amazed with what God is doing in my life now. And I just know that there's something else that I'm going to have to do my shadow work for, because where he has me going now, excuse me, it's where I haven't been since I was very young. Me
Mm.
and my sister and my cousin used to be models, but we did it secretly because as a Jehovah's Witness, hell no. There's no other way to put that. So God blessing me to have had someone say, you're beautiful, and because you are associated with domestic violence and your voice is to heal people, we got to get you in. So I'm going to another level in my life of healing. However, there are some things that I know I have tucked away because, like I said, being a JW, you are not about to do no walking, no modeling. Oh, no. But we did it, and my mother didn't know. And it's just a lot of stuff, the etiquette school, all that stuff. We weren't supposed to be part of any of that. So I know that there's another level of healing that I'm going to have to face and do that shadow work. And I know that it's going to cut deep and hit hard. And yeah, I need some extra stitches and all of that. But I'm grateful that I'm here and that y'all are with me in this community to help me to get through it. Thank you so much. Love
You're
y'all.
so very welcome. Thank you. And we love you too. We love you too. And ma'am, behave, Miss Sandra. Behave. That's all I'm gonna say. Behave.
I don't know if I know how. I did my hair and I put my little lashes on and it started fights at work and it's been a hot mess. That's why when Antonio T. Smith Jr. said about stopping traffic and when him and Uncle was talking about it, I was like, oh yeah, I've been there. So I don't know how this is gonna go
It's
about
gonna
being
go
on the
beautiful.
runway again.
No, it's gonna go beautifully.
I
Cause
might have to stop. I might have to shut it down because, yeah, just saying, something to look
it's
into.
gonna go wonderfully because it's you. It's gonna be perfect. It's gonna be perfect. Go ahead, Renee.
I just wanted to say that I didn't always necessarily know what shadow work is, but it's I will say that I put something in my closet years ago, and it was a kid from school that picked on me. I mean, he picked on me like he throw eggs at the house and all of that. And we had moved away. And when I had to go to summer school, the summer before I became a senior, I saw his name. Like he was in the school that I was at. And boy, oh boy, those feelings that I didn't know were there came rushing. And when I was a kid, I was a little shy, but you can fast forward this to when I'm about 16 years old, and I was looking for that kid because I wanted to pummel him because I realized everything that he had said and did to me when I was a younger girl. And I thought that I was okay because I had kind of put it. I was like, well, you don't see him. You don't. You moved on. Now you in high school. You looking towards the future. On that day, on that really that entire couple weeks that I was taking that class, I was looking for him. I was looking for that kid, and I never found him. And I thought, I was like, because 16-year-old Renee, I was ready to take. So I was like, okay, you wanted to play with me when I'm, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. It's like teenage Renee is gonna kick your butthole. I was ready, but I never found him. And I said, looking back, I said, I'm so glad that I didn't. I'm really glad, because if I would have pummeled that kid, yeah, he probably would have deserved it. But then again, that could have messed me up from graduating from high school on time. And who knows, that could have changed the whole trajectory of my life if I would have pummeled him. Yeah, it would have felt good for like probably a good 5 minutes. But it's so true, because sometimes we put stuff in that closet and we'd be like, oh, and then it comes out and says, hello, here I am. And you like, son of a biscuit eater. And but that's why it's so important that I know there's gonna probably come a day where I'm gonna see him again. And now as a 30-something year old woman, how am I going to how am I going to address that within myself? Now, I've gone home plenty of times since then. Never seen them, or if I have, I'm like, okay. But that's the real truth that comes out. When you see somebody that that they wronged you in the past, if you are actually able to treat them like nothing ever even happened, it's freaking awesome. But if you're not, and you kick their butt, and you will find yourself with your hair messed up and you in jail, then you haven't healed. Then you haven't healed yet. So it's I know there's a time that I know I'm probably gonna see him when I go home. I just hope that on that day when I do, that I look my absolute best. But still at the end of the day, I'm gonna be like, I'm Renee. You might have tried to stifle kid Renee, but Renee grown now, and Renee knows who she is. So there you go. I did think about him though. We came home, and his house used to be right adjacent from my house, and I looked at it and I just kind of smiled, and I said those memories. But it's we have to make sure that what we put in our closet, we got to make sure we clean it out, because sometimes people got 20, 30 years full of stuff in their closets.
Yep.
You gotta make sure you check it before you before them soccer balls and all that stuff come flying out and you get a concussion. So thanks for letting me share.
No, thank you for sharing. And then
Medea
that
said the same thing. Medea said the same thing and died a mad black woman. She said, if you get a chance to take revenge and you don't take it, then you're over it. But if you do get a chance and you take it, you ain't over it.
Yeah. I wasn't healed then when I was in high school, because I wanted my size 12 foot to go up his woohoo. But I'm grateful it didn't happen.
I respect you, because I remember when I was in kindergarten, this kid stabbed me with a pencil. I called him up in 5th grade, and well, he ain't get away. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Trinace.
It always be the bully, don't it?
Yeah, messing with me, and then you always want to get in trouble, huh?
Well,
That's how
no,
it was
I
for
didn't get in
me.
trouble with this because she got with Trinace when Trinace was a grown woman.
Talk to him now.
Yeah, she got with Trinace. She friended me on Facebook, and I was like, no big deal. Bunch of people from the Catholic school that I went to friended me. Okay. She messaged her son. She told her son to tell me to call her. That's odd, but okay. I told my good friend that I was still friends with from 5th grade. Girl told me her son messaged me. She said, well, why would she want to talk to you? She made our lives hell in school. She just didn't mess with me because Kim. I said, yeah, your sister Kim, she ain't care who she would fight. So I called her and she say, so how you doing? I say, I'm good. She say, so what you do you come to Chicago? I say, I'll be in Chicago for career day as an author at St. Malachy. Oh, I heard about your little book. I say, oh, I'm a full-time published
Oh,
author,
aren't you the
and I'm
editor?
grown woman Trinace. I'm not little girl Trinace anymore. Well, maybe we can have some lunch. I was like, no, that we probably won't. And then I think we maybe talked another minute or two, and I ended the call. I was like, that was so dumb. Who did she think she was gonna get? But I had saw her buddy when I was like 18, and she'd had like 2 kids already, and she couldn't afford a pack of cigarettes. Newport 25s. They was $2.25, and she didn't have the money. I went in my pocket and put the rest of the money on. She said, I'll pay you back. I said, no, I've already been paid back. I've already been paid back. Who knew that I was already over it? It's irritating to think that people live their life, because I learned that usually 9 times out of 10, the bully is a bully because they are being bullied at home. There's a level of bullying at the house. So they come to school and bully who they can bully. So you couldn't buy a pack of cigarettes and you got all these kids, ma'am, take this 35 cents so you can get these Newport 25s. The fact that I remember it was 35 cents. Goodbye. Grace is over there rolling. She's laughing so hard. Yeah, it always be them. I went to class reunion and the girl kept saying wow for 2 hours. Girl, did you think I was gonna be the same?
Ticket number M310.
That's because they spend so much time in their pain. Now that they're older, they realize they're still in their pain, and the people that they lashed out at have outgrown them. And they're like, oh, and so they're in awe because they were broken and they tried to break you and you didn't break.
Which is why my program is for abused women, children, and men, because the abuser is definitely included, because they don't even know sometimes that they're being the abuser. They don't even know that the abusing is abuse. They don't even get that they themselves are being abused because they are abusing. And they have to be woken up. And it's a hard pill to swallow, but it's true. They need healing because they're broken. And the only way to heal is to shatter. Don't you Lucky just say it?
And you said it. Go ahead, Miss.
Well, yeah. So in response to that, if that's all you've ever known, then that's all you ever know. It's like all those children that they finally rescued in that home that had been abused and tortured their whole life, and then one of them escaped and was brave enough to escape, and you know, they're still dealing with it today. It went on for years. But it's like a coincidence, or Phil would say a coincidence, but I had posted today a story about, I don't know who has read The Shack. Raise your hands if you've read The Shack.
Yes, I read all of them.
And this is, you know, wanted to share this after what you said.
Will you drop it in link, please?
The Shack is by a guy named William Paul Young. And it's a story of, Phil can tell you more about the story of The Shack, but it's his backstory. His story of his parents were missionaries, and he was, I think, the only child. And so he spent most of his childhood overseas, and his parents were so busy that they didn't pay much attention to him. And he was physically and mentally abused, sexually, and all of that for many years. And he held it all in. And then the backstory that goes, we got to spend time with him in Columbus, Ohio, when he spoke. And he was sharing about The Shack, the book, The Shack. And then he invited us, he said, you know, they were going to be at this big church in downtown Columbus. And it's where Les's daughter goes, the church she goes to. I think you went to that church, Deanna, when you were there. That's where it was held, I believe. So the next night he spoke there, and that's when he told the backstory of what the abuse and everything that he went in. Unbelievable. And him overcoming it all. And he had a bad relationship with his wife, and the whole story about that. Phil can probably tell a little bit better on that. So he was cheating on his wife because he didn't even know how to be a husband. He wasn't even a good person, but he kind of pretended who he was when they married. So she caught him in the affair. And so they went to counseling, and got back together. And so he decided he was going to write this book. But all these obstacles kept coming at him, stabbing him that he couldn't, get it done. Somebody didn't want that out there. And then he tried to get a choreographer. And the first choreographer, someone slipped some money under his door when they knew what he was trying to do, $100. And it was enough for him to go to Staples or wherever and publish so many copies. And he sent them to different choreographers. The first one said no, several said no, and finally the last choreographer agreed to do it. And that's how he got it published. And then he went to Europe with him. And there's more to the story, but that's what I remember. So you see, you just never know. There, you can always, and that, do the shadow work for the rest of your life, because there's always going to be things, and you may remember things from way back that you had put aside and did not remember, chose not to. And then when it came out with him, then, when they went to counseling, he wasn't even aware that he thought he was going for marriage counseling. And then this all came out. So it's called The Shack, William Paul Young. It's kind of a difficult read, but it's good. It's kind of a story that he created and what happened in the shack.
No, thank you for sharing, Miss Susan.
And they're all in that biblical people, from above. All right. Hope you got something out of that, but
no,
that it came to me this morning. Well, it came up in my memory, and then I reposted it and everything. And I'd said, if you'd like for me to share it with you, email me instead of, text me. That way I get their email address that I learned on here, right?
There you go. Build that data.
Didn't think of that till I was done, and then I went back in and edited it.
No, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing, Miss Susan, because you just spoke on what I was going to address when Renee was talking. That's the importance of shadow work. Because when you do shadow work for yourself, you have to have the courage to go into it. Then you start realizing things like, man, if this is what I'm dealing with, and this is how I acted when I was dealing with it, then who else is going through it? And then you start how you respond to people starts changing, because you start looking at them and you start seeing that, oh yeah, they got some unresolved stuff they working with. And how you respond to them start changing, because you start realizing, man, they just in a lot of pain. Instead of got me, instead of that response, your response is more, man, you hurting really bad. If this is how you coming at me, you hurting bad. And And I don't know when it shifted for me, but like our neighbor, it was one night, our neighbor decided to mow the lawn at 1 o'clock in the morning. I mean, a riding mower, so it wasn't quiet. And I remember, we were all like just hanging out at the time. Me and my family, we were just in my dad's neighbor, and we were just hanging out. And everybody was like, "What is wrong with this man? This man is crazy." And the only thing I could think of was, man, he going through something. If he mowing the lawn after midnight, he going through something. Because first off, it's enough trees for enough branches to have fallen to bust up some blades, and you out that night. Then you got dogs, so I'm sure they have dug some holes, and you gonna bust up your blades, and you out there at night. Oh, Miss Susan said the Shack is also a movie. I think I've seen that. Okay, I'm about to go. Not the movie, but I've seen it in previews and stuff. So when you do your shadow work, it actually changes how you view people, because you start changing how you view yourself. And then when you start seeing people, you start understanding the one thing that made my heart hurt so bad, when I realized in doing the work, when I realized, man, it's so many people out here who are broken and don't even know it. And they're living their life that way. And they're responding to people, and they're reacting to the pain, and they're hurting other people because they're broken and don't even realize it. And it was, I can't remember when it was, before, for a minute, when I would go out into the world, I would look at people and I could just see the pain on them. And it hurt. It hurt that they were in pain and didn't know they were in pain. Because I'd been there. Just like Uncle Roman, I was the bee's knees. Only to find out, no, you ain't. You busted and broken like the next person. Go ahead, Miss Sandra.
Thus be the book for the wanderer. Yep. A cheap text. I feel like you just saying.
Thank you, Miss Sandra. But that's why so yes, you can get stuck in the process. Yes, people who bully you only bullying you because they're being bullied. And they're being bullied, and they feel some kind of way, and they can't express it. So what are they going to do when they go out? They're going to find somebody to bully. And 10 times out of 10, it's going to be somebody smaller than them, because 10 times out of 10, the person bullying them at home is bigger than them. If they got abused as a kid, they're either going to, one, abuse as an adult, or two, get ran over as an adult because of how they're going to overly love as an adult. And I'm only saying this because I've seen all types of people. Hell, I was one of them. I was the abuser as an adult. And I wasn't physically abused, but I was a bully. And it started off when I was young, right after my brother was born. And I had to dig deep and find out. Like, I went back to him and apologized too. And he looked at me, he said, "Why are you crying?" I'm like, he looked at me, he said, "Girl, I've been forgave you over that. Come on, let's go get something to eat." If y'all ever meet my brother, he's cool as a fan. But but to me, it's eating me up because I hadn't forgiven myself. only to go to him and he was like, I'm over that. I've been over that. You the one still holding on to it. And that's why it takes courage to do the work, because the first person you have to forgive is yourself. And that is the hardest thing to do. When I've had my ugly cry moments. It's not coming out of both nostrils. Drool, just the ugly cry. Because I had to forgive myself, and it was so hard to do. It was so hard to do. And it still comes up, like Miss Sandra was saying earlier, it's like an onion. There are layers. I mean, imagine if this happened to you as a kid when you're like 8, 9, 10 years old. 30 years later, that's 30 years of layering. That's 30 years that you've just been piling on top of. So when you start, that's why it takes courage to do it, because once you start it, you have to peel back the first layer first. And then from there, like Uncle Romy Rome was saying, he said, man, I thought I was over this. No, you wasn't over it. You just put a nice amount of layers over it. you you had a triple decker. You had to go back. You were like, okay, hold on, here go the first layer. But when he told his story, he just chopped right down the center to the core of it, and he was there all over again, fresh. We get stuck in the process as we're peeling the layers back, because the closer we get to the core, the more it hurts. See, I can peel back the boyfriend that broke my heart 10 years ago. Like, that was 10 years ago, whatever. I can peel back the layer of the boy that broke my heart my senior year in high school. I can peel that back, and that was my senior year. I'm 40 now. But the deeper I get, the closer I get to what actually is the problem, the more that starts hurting, because it's closer to home than we expect it to be. Because it started at home.
Okay, because do you know how much it hurt when Antonio and Shannon told me, you ain't got no friends because you angry all the time. Wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? That hurt, So when they started peeling back, I was like, oh my God. So yeah.
Close to home.
Okay. But yeah, I really made a decision to work on myself, because how you gonna be an extrovert with no friends? No, you're gonna be miserable.
I never thought about that. That makes so much sense.
Yeah, you'd be miserable. You'd die. So yeah, I'm grateful. Okay.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Grace, as Grace started peeling back them layers, she started recognizing some things and realizing where stuff started originating from. And she was like, wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. That one hurt too much. I'm going to need to pause right here. She got stuck in that process, Trinace, because she had to pause right there, because she started peeling the layer back, and it was like, wait a minute. I wasn't expecting that one to happen.
I knew I had to do something when I was talking to my Baba, and she said, well, if you want friends, you got to show yourself friendly. I said, wait, don't you come at me with this scripture.
You heard what HT.
Oh, yeah.
Grace mama is an OG, triple OG, okay? She one of those mamas, when she call your name, you just say yes, ma'am. You don't ask no questions. You just like, yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
okay.
Sweet as she can be, but she like Antonio. She can get results. Okay, you need it. Okay, yeah.
She is mama. Okay, she that mama you don't play with, and she gonna come to you kind and nice, but you don't play with her. Don't you? She told you what to do. She gave you.
She comes to you like Uncle Roby Rob. Okay, Roby Rob gonna tell you that. Listen, okay.
I love you, but you're messing up. And let me tell you, it's the layers. So I am happy to hear how things are going with everyone in their shadow work. We gonna keep doing some more digging, because I'm gonna tell you something. The more you don't do the work, the more your bank account won't do you. Okay, and just put that out there. I learned this the hard way. See, when I first got here, like Don is 8, about to be 9. So about 9.5, no, 8.5 years ago. Because Don was March, April, May, June, July. Don was 10 months old when I started leadership class. Don was 10 months old. He was with me in leadership class, crawling all over the table, because his little tail couldn't sit still then. And I was like Uncle Romy Roll. And I'm the bee's knees. I am the whole nest and honey. Okay? I am it. Ain't nothing wrong. And then I started doing the work, and I'm like, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me I ain't got no money, and the clients that I got, Honey Bunches of Oats, which is actually some really good cereal. I like the Just Bunches though. But and I'm sitting here, I'm like, so you mean to tell me I ain't got no money because of me? And the reason it's my fault is because I'm attracting people who don't make money. So what do you mean I'm attracting them? Like, how does this work? Like, break this down to me, because I want customers who make money. Because my company was built on commission. If they wasn't making money, I wasn't making money. Because I started off in music management. Will not go back. Ever. It's just you just an overqualified babysitter that don't get paid. I ain't doing it no more. But as I started digging deep and reading all these books and everything, and I'm like, okay, so what the hell? Like, what I need to do? It ain't my fault. It's their fault. Like, I had to go through this whole process, but then I had to start really thinking like, okay, if I'm attracting customers who don't make money, what does that say about me? So what do I need to work out in myself so I can vibrate at customers who make money? And when I tell you I vibrated right on out that whole industry, right out the whole industry, just gone. Went through a mentorship, got asked how much I wanted to get paid. Was offered a blank check like, hey, how much do you want to get paid to do all this? Man, I don't even want to do it. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I don't even want to do it. Why you don't want to do it? Well, look, let me tell you something. It's dying. It's a dying industry. I don't want to do that no more. You know what? That makes sense. Like, this is a conversation that was had with the person who offered the blank check. And I was like, but mind you, this is why you got to be careful who in your passenger seat. Because Antonio was coaching me this whole time. He coached me into the mentorship. He coached me out of the mentorship. And he coached me into a different industry. And when I tell you, it's the same. I don't even know where that musical group is right now. I don't even know where they are. Because of the industry, it's just how the industry has gone. But I started vibrating differently, and I vibrated out of an entire industry. I'm telling y'all how shadow work will help you with your prosperity. I vibrated out of an entire industry. So much so to where that same place that I was doing my internship at, was sold by the owner. After I left, the building that I worked in was sold, and we had moved into a different building. Actually, no, while I was there, because I did inventory, I inventoried some major stuff. Let me tell y'all something. Some beautiful stuff. If for the I did a mentorship at Music World, and the stuff that I inventoried, oh my God. Like, I got to hold awards, like actual Grammys and okay. That was the best experience I've had. I ain't gonna lie. But I vibrated out of that. But I had to have the courage to say, hey, this not for me. Quick recap. If you don't know what Music World is, Music World was the record label that Beyonce and Destiny's Child was under. Solange, Earth, Wind, and Fire, I think, did something. Isley Brothers did something. It was ran by Mr. Matthew Knowles, just in case. I was told some people may not know what Music World is, so I just wanted to explanation. The greatest experience ever. Like, the greatest experience ever. Met some of the most wonderful people. I actually follow a couple of them on social media. They're just awesome, wonderful group of people. I've met music Hall of Famers. I've met rock and roll Hall of Famers. I met Hakeem Olajuwon. Dude is tall AF. Let me tell you something. I'm sitting here, like, literally had to look up. Literally. Now I see how Miss Susan feels. When she has to, because y'all know Miss Susan is like, she's tiny petite. She's so adorable. And I was sitting here and I'm looking at Elijah. I'm like, oh snap. Dude is tall. Like, he had to duck. It was so awesome. But that world, the world that I dreamed of all of my life, I vibrated out of it. Everybody that I was around vibrated out of that. Only to realize I had to do more work. And I'm not finished. There's still layers that I'm peeling back every day. And I pause and get stuck very frequently, Trinace. I get stuck in the process very often. But I want to thank all of you. We're going to shut it down a little early today because we're starting a new class today, and I want everyone to be able to get your meals in. Class starts at noon today. Jalen, excited? Class starts at noon today, so I want to give everybody a chance to. Oh, look, he done popped on. Yeah, give everybody a chance to eat, to run whatever errands you need to run.
Yeah. I've been listening the whole time. I want to let me talk about the class just real quick.
Go ahead.
Verbally masturbating here. If you all are part of the class, what you do immediately, is be selfish. You need to bring your product or your company. Bring at least one product. Focus on one product. You more than likely will get the opportunity to talk about multiples, but focus on money. Like, you can only do one thing at one time. So try to focus on that. Other than that, I have nothing to say. We've oversold. There it is. I'm looking forward to it. We'll see you at noon. This should be, I'm going to treat this as a cameras on thing. So let's put that word out to everybody. So cameras on, unless you have some reasonable thing, because I don't know when to slow down if you're not talking. This is a workshop. So there you go. Okay, go ahead, Dion.
Okay, well, there you go. So, there's the book, The Shack. That looks scary. I'm not gonna lie, when Miss Susan said The Shack, I instantly thought of a horror movie. I really did. Because I've seen I've seen flashes of it. But I want to thank all of you.
It's all based on faith too. They're just, and how it comes back around to that. Even his story, his personal story, which I only can remember pieces of it, not the whole story. But the book movie it's a hard one.
The byline is The Shack, where tragedy confronts eternity.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's one of the books that once you pick it up, you can't put it down. It's one of those.
I would read the book first before seeing the movie, because the book is more detailed, I think, than the movie. I don't know if you agree, Phil.
Yeah, I haven't seen a movie that was better than the book.
All right. What I'm gonna put the link to the book in the chat again for those who may have missed it. There it is.
Is ours autographed, Phil? Didn't he autograph ours? Oh yeah.
Oh, wow. It is. Oh,
What did he say? I forget.
He said, "Susan, you are so lucky to have a husband like Phil."
It's Phil.
Love it. Love it. I think I told Grace this, but I think Mr. Phil was like my uncle in another lifetime. I really do. I think he was my uncle in another lifetime.
Well, and I told him, no, we don't want to do that. We're doing it. So, Grace, whispers of relentless affection. You matter, William Paul Young.
Awesome. That is awesome. Oh, Tracy. Tracy says she feel like she missing out on so much without being in the content class. She said she have to hurry up and quit.
I was wondering, I had a feeling she was going to be feeling that way, but she can listen to the replay,
Yeah, because after every call, I send out the replay. So you wouldn't miss anything. All right, y'all.
I was trying to see if she's trying to unmute her mic. Never mind. I thought she wanted to say something.
You know it's not the same.
I get it.
You're right. You're right. It's not the same. It's not. Well, everyone, I want to thank again. We're gonna go a little early today. So since it's the first day, so everyone can get meals in, get whatever you need to have. I'm gonna have snacks galore with my notepad and my computer because I got a whole busload of stuff. And remember, if you're in the class, remember, be selfish. Be selfish. Jalen is like a big kid. I love it. He is ready. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Some of you we will see at noon. And I hope that your imagination will always be a celebration of you. Love you all. See you soon.
Love you more.
Love you more.